Daily goals are tough. Weekly goals super attainable, and it keeps your conscious mind up to speed on, hey, by the way, you are still on track. Versus if you set a daily goal, I'm going to work out every day, I'm going to read every day, and then you miss a day, you're also telling your subconscious mind that it's okay for you to miss those goals. But if you say, I'm going to read 4 times a week, I'm going to work out 4 times a week, and you have a bad day on Monday and a bad day on Tuesday, maybe you're sick, you still have the rest of the week to make up for it. And therefore, you build consistency, and consistency over time compounds into results, and progress are success in my definition.
Who's this? Oh, you're an entrepreneur? Oh, you're a real estate investor? Oh, you're trying to learn from those who did it? Well, come into the lab then. Put your white coat on, gloves on, notepad, and let's build, y'all.
Experiment Nation, I am officially back in the lab, and I'm excited today to share some insights that will hopefully you will implement. That is a game changer here in the lab. And my goal is to bring you the most resourceful tools, individuals, so that you can implement them in your lab being your life, your world, your market. And I am excited today because I've just unlocked another tool that will help hopefully you, wherever you are in your current journey, to get clarity and insight and guidance on your goals. So if you are not up to speed with, and this is your first time tuning in, you're in for a treat. But number two is I want to reference to a couple episodes that I did as we're wrapping up Q4 of 2024 to position yourself for a very strong, powerful year into 2025. And efficient, effective, etc. We've been able to make significant strides by simply taking action and not honestly knowing the how, but just being committed, and just focusing on the what. The how gets figured out later, but you must commit. And one of the things I want to share with you is a book I'm currently listening to. I am not done, but I just couldn't even help myself. It is the 12-week year. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. And it has completely changed what we've been able to um, experience here in the lab, as it has been a game changer for us. So now I will say this is going to be very critical for you if you're in the planning phase, plotting phase, and you're putting yourself in a position to succeed. I want to share this insight with you because this insight is going to hopefully give you a boost in your experiments. So what am I talking about? Two things that came to mind. So one is, it was in parallel with what I heard on shout out to Tony Robbins talked about seasons of life. And it just really resonated with me because we truly do need to operate in seasons, and it's in direct parallel with the core principles that were discussed in this specific um, in the book. And in the book, it talks about how, and Alex Ramosi talked about this too, which are all great resources of highly effective, high achieving individuals. But in the book, it talks about the entire premise of the book is about how you can actually be more efficient, have a sense of urgency, and get more done by committing to quarters instead of a 1 year goal. And so, currently recording this in January, people just had their goals. Here are my goals for the year. And the truth is, there's just so many different confounding factors or things that can change within a 12-month period that it's so critical and probably more important for you to focus on the critical path for the next 3 months and then reset from these next 3 months based on the new data that you've accumulated, you've acquired, based on the results you've received, the situations, the unforeseen situations they may be facing that are out of your control. Revisit and reevaluate after 3 months. But what a 3-month window does, and why it's so powerful, is it forces you to also have very clarity, trim the fat, and not think that you have 12 months to accomplish something that can be done in 12 weeks. Because the truth is, um, Parkinson's law says that the amount of time that you allot an activity for it to take will be the amount of time that it takes to actually do the thing. That is why when you used to have a paper, you used to have only the last night to finish it, you would get it done because it needed to get done. Just like if you give yourself 2 weeks versus 2 days versus 2 hours, there's a good chance you will get it done. Confucius says, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually correct. So, what does it mean for you? What would it mean for you if you started setting your goals in 3 month increments? Not only would it trim the fat and allow you to focus on what's in front of you, that's what we've done in our lab, but really be clear and not be so diluted in your efforts, but at the same time, just instead being very clear on what you need to focus on these next 3 months and what will be measurable. Smart goals, right? Measurable, specific, attainable, realistic, timeable goals that you can focus on, and have metrics. And I think it's just been incredible because since I've implemented this in these past, call it 3 weeks, it's I've seen it. And it wasn't just a book, it was a combination of hearing the seasons, Alex Hormuzzi talking about the same thing, the way he sets his goals. Quarterly KPIs, key performance indicators, is what you need. And with a combination of one of my favorite entrepreneurs of all time, MJ DeMarco, where his planner is I think it's a 1 year, 3 year, 1, 5, 10 year plan to see what is the 10 year goal, what is the 5 year goal, and then how do you reverse engineer it to the 1 year goal. Well, and then how do you reverse engineer it to the monthly goal and reverse engineer into the weekly goals. A lot of us set daily goals. I believe weekly goals at least give you the opportunity to make up for a day that you might have an unplanned event, and you might have something that occurs that you just did not plan. It's really important for you to actually have that in place, a metric in place that allows you to, let's hit the reset and say, hey, I have new information, and at the same time give you the ability to adjust along the way, and or be able to cram in within the week so that you're still hitting your milestones on a weekly basis. Daily goals are tough, weekly goals super attainable, and it keeps your conscious mind up to speed on, hey, by the way, you're still on track. Versus if you set a daily goal, I'm going to work out every day, I'm going to read every day, and then you miss a day, you're also telling your subconscious mind that it's okay for you to miss those goals. But if you say, I'm going to read 4 times a week, I'm going to work out 4 times a week, and you have a bad day on Monday and a bad day on Tuesday, maybe you're sick, you still have the rest of the week to make up for it. And therefore you build consistency, and consistency over time compounds into results, and results and progress are success in my definition. So this is why this is important. And this is why it's so critical for you to be thinking about how you need to rewire and reframe the way you even set your goals. And one way to do that is to shorten, condense the amount of time that it takes for you to actually be able to measure those goals and plan for those goals. It's easier to plan for 12 weeks, aka 3 months, than it is to plan for an entire 12-month where you just do not have enough data and information to be able to make the right calls along the way. It's also setting yourself up for failure and just these ambiguous goals when you're doing a 12-month plan, and you're also delaying the amount of time and sense of urgency that it takes to actually get there, when rather you can focus on 3-month goals that can allow you to be super dialed into what is the next best step. I have a mastermind group, and I always tell this to folks that I'm teaching, is I will teach you the next best logical step. Do not get overwhelmed with having all the information. That's what forces people to freeze. What allows you to make progress is being very clear on what is the next best step in this journey, the next critical step that I should follow in this journey. Okay. Experiment Nation, you've heard me talk about how multiple investors across the nation are landing these lucrative midterm rental insurance contracts by making these small tweaks on the branding and marketing side. Especially if you're an existing short-term rental operator, there is a quick and easy shift that you can make with the ride guide in place. And because we've launched a 2-day boot camp that not everyone could attend in real time, I've put together a recording where you can get all the materials and all the guides to focus on rebranding either your short-term rental business or your current midterm rental business, so that you can actually have the insurance companies reach out to you. And then day two is, if you want to actually play offense, how you can reach out to them by listing on the right platforms, etc. If you're looking to get this MTR bootcamp so that you can start optimizing and you can start receiving these lucrative contracts that again provide less headaches, less turnovers, unlike the Airbnb space, you can start receiving inquiries today by having the right guide in place. So please go to experimentrealestate.com/MTR bootcamp, or click the link in the bio to make sure you get your hands on this midterm rental insurance bootcamp to fast track your way into landing these lucrative insurance contracts the exact same ways multiple investors have taken advantage of this unknown and untapped niche within the midterm rental umbrella. So I talked about in episode 309 the importance of redefining your 2025 era, and I give you some tools which I highly encourage you to do. But what I love doing is kind of implementing in the lab, almost like a chemist, success principles and stacking it under other success principle. So Redefining Your Era, episode 309. I actually talked about how you can actually leverage AI to treat yourself like having like a cabinet of advisors for your goals, and brain dumping into AI, or Chat GPT, for example. What is on the forefront for you this year, and then asking even that question of, if you focused on, what is the question? I want to make sure I pull that and say it accordingly here. I do have it here in my notes. So it's, given the resources I currently have, what one thing could I do that would make all of the problems disappear? So that, again, trimming the fat of what's actually most important for you to do this year. But then again, you might have more than one goal. So understanding what's the one domino pillar that would make everything else come true? Love that question. And you should have received some level of insight from that. And if you do that, or you haven't heard the exercise, do a dump of where you are, where you want to go, what is important to you, what gives you energy, what drains you, what gives you life, what fulfills you, where you are financially, where you want to be, where you're going, and pretty much brain dumping, like details of a credit score, liquidity available, time that you have available. I was just speaking with someone in my mastermind that, doesn't have that much time but has the money, etc. Like, whatever your positioning is, brain dump it in Chat GPT and say, this is where I want to go in next year. This is where I want to go this year. This is where I want to be in 3 years. This is where I want to be in 5 years. Give it to me straight. And then I basically asked it some very key questions that you can listen to in this episode, that was very insightful to at least be familiar with. But there was about 9 questions. Which skill would you double down on? What should be my primary focus? What is the best lever I should pull right now? What is the most untapped opportunity I have? Who should be my next strategic hire? What actions could help me achieve my income goals the quickest? Or which strategy have I not implemented that could help 10x my results? What am I completely overlooking that could be a game changer? How can I capitalize on industry trends based on my existing strengths and advantages in my life based on what I previously dumped below? So, or dumped above. So based on those things, then you ask that question of, given the resources I have, what one thing could I do that would make all of the problems disappear? But then I want to take an additional layer. Now that we have a new framework and blueprint, why not add, now if you were to put this in a 12-week year plan based on the thing that's most important, what will that 12-week plan look like if I reverse engineer the most critical thing to happen in the first 3 months, based on the long-term 1 year goal, based on the information that I have to date, based on the actions that I took to date? I just did that exercise right before I got on this episode and got so much even more clarity to, again, execute in a timely window, on, again, a very timely time boxed window. I think that's very important for us to think about. Is it's about being, um, you know, it's about being proactive. It's about being, um, it's about being having a sense of urgency, and that's what I like most about the 12 week, because it's like 12 months you have time, by mid-year you'll tell yourself you have another 6 months, and you still, and then all of a sudden you start cramming, and then things do get done. But why can't you have gotten some of those things done in the first quarter? Well, if you treat your first 3 months like a year, then what you are eventually able to accomplish is what you would accomplish in a year, because you have that sense of urgency. And then you actually get to celebrate those milestones, and you get essentially 4 happy New Years in 1 year. So it's just such a fascinating concept that I wanted to come in here and pop in and just plant that seed of thought of, what am I planning in 12 years that I could really be doing in 12 weeks? Like, think about that, reframe that question. What would need to be true in order for me to do it in 12 weeks? Definitely action oriented items in there, not just thinking it through. Thinking and growing rich is definitely one phase, and you need to think of who, not how. And I was just reading U Squared, and you need to, talks about quantum leaps, not doing the exact same thing. There's probably gonna be a change there, but there's definitely action oriented things that give you the clarity that you need, that trims all the other fat, that makes it very concrete of this is what I actually should be focusing. And if you're unsure, use the AI given tools that I just gave. I wasn't able to find this because I'm listening to the book on Audible. But even if you were to take what I ended up doing, actually, I'll give you exact prompt that I used. I said, and I love geeking out on this, right? Use the plans that I have previously written, right? When I configure this bot, and I said, I gave it an update, and then I said I am moving according to plan, but would like to incorporate the 12-week year by Brian P. Morgan, having SMART goals planned according to my overall 2025 year. Can you help me plan my 12-week year based on the goals that I have this year, and lay it out in a week by week plan that will follow the principles mentioned in the above in the book? Feel free to use the internet to assemble the 12-week year planning principles to incorporate into an actionable, accountability driven plan with respect to my current updates. Your updates are above. My updates were above, and then I even recapped it again, what my plans were, and it put it into a week by week plan. And then I even said, can you calibrate it for this week? Like, not January 1st, but January 18th, January 19th, January 20th, February, whatever date you're listening to. Ask the chat GPT or AI tool to calibrate it for this week. I'm sorry I've been geeking out on these tools, but excuse me, I truly genuinely believe that the better and more advanced we are able to use these AI tools, the better we can put ourselves in a position to have clarity and utmost efficiency, because that was the whole point of this AI anyways. Automated intelligence has been around for years, but it's the fact now that we can have input from a human and let it give guidance to a human being like yourself to then fast track results. That's what it's all about. So make sure, if you haven't already done, check out the book. I'm listening to it on Audible. Probably get a reading version as well. The 12-week year by Brian P. Morgan. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. Implement it to your overall plan and use it, because you don't fail to the level of your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. And it's important that you have a system and a plan in place for you to succeed and expedite the results that you can get from having such plan in place. So again, just a great reminder of the importance of having a plan in place and how to work the plan, so that you want to make it so easy and effortless for you to be very clear that you just wake up and work the plan. You're not guessing, you're not thinking what's a priority. You're very clear. And when you think of efficient operators, they know exactly, they've made it hard. They've made it hard for themselves not to do the plan. All right. So commit to things, whether it's accountability, don't do it alone. Do this with someone. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear this. Share the book. Have a plan. Have an accountability partner, and then work the plan. Now, keep in mind, based on the quality questions that you ask, based on the mentorships, based on the direction that you want to go, your plan will be aligned, and it will be your plan, not somebody else's plan, but your plan. And the only time you switch the plan is if there's new information and data that's you've received, that gives you insight of to areas where you should change and pivot Sometimes it might be removing something from the plan, but if you work the plan will work, right? And so with that, I want to give you this 12-week year framework that you can implement in your lab so you can get the most amount of results. Now, if you're a midterm rental insurance operator and you got some value from this episode or wherever you are and you're looking to get some guidance, we do have a mastermind where we're able to give some guidance. Make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/submit to see if it's a good fit. We do have 2 programs at this time. One, they're both done with you. One is the mastermind and one is the MTR accelerator. You can go to experimentrealestate.com/accelerator and sign up if you're looking to work with relocation agencies and corporations who are in a position to look for displaced or who are looking for furnished accommodations, short-term rentals, midterm rentals, who are looking to relocate their displaced clients. There is a large demand. You can only see that there's been a large demand. We just did a panel with the fires in Los Angeles. The demand is going to go beyond just the LA region, beyond California. And it's something that is happening regardless of wildfires. There's constant families in need that need to be relocated, and there's full-time relocation agencies working full-time around the clock to help displaced families. So if you're looking for, again, higher occupancy, higher profitability for solving a larger problem, then that is what my mastermind and my course teaches operators who have furnished accommodations. Get in front of these companies who are looking for homeowners like you who understand the incredible business model that is around and that are in a position to serve and make their homes available to then help other families. So with that said, go to experimentrealestate.com/submit if you want to join the mastermind, or if you want to hit the ground running right away and get access to our course, the MTR Accelerator. It's a 3-month program. Make sure you check out experimentrealestate.com/accelerator to get started. Now let's accelerate your results in 2025 to the top. Experimentation. I believe there are 2 critical components that will help you achieve your goals very quickly and succeed. Number 1, it's information like this that you received on a show, in an episode, and content that you can find on my YouTube channel or anybody's channel. And then there's a community. And the way we've been able to expedite our process, the way people in our community, people that we consult, mastermind members, whoever, they get the information on an episode like this, but then they also have a support, whether it's me guiding them or being guided through a community. There is an opportunity for you listening to be able to expedite your process or even expedite your results that you're seeking by being in part of the community. If that is what you're interested in, we at Experiment Nation happen to have a community devoted to helping maximize your occupancy and your profitability altogether, regardless of which market that you are in. And for that reason, you have an opportunity where you can go to experimentrealestate.com/submit if you're looking to work in an environment that can help you prosper faster. Call out any areas that you might not be familiar in, especially the blind spots. That's where a guide comes in hand, and I would be a pleasure and honor to be your guide. But in order to make sure you're a good fit, make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/submit so that my team can go ahead and take it and see if you're a good fit to join the mastermind and the multiple programs that we have. In addition to that, I'm also now a YouTube partner, which means that I want to give you more access to information, more access to Q&As, more access to the questions that actually come out of our mastermind to help people expedite the process. We've seen people get anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 to even $7,000 a month net on just one door by applying the strategies that we use by working with corporations and furnished accommodation in a very strategic way. So if you're interested, make sure you also subscribe, because I'm going to have different tiers that's on YouTube now that we've become YouTube partner, to continue to be the bridge to your success in your lab. And your lab means your life, your goals, or wherever you're trying to head. So make sure you also hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/real estate experiment. We'll be there. You can also look us up at midterm rental insurance experiment. We will be there. Make sure you hit the subscribe, because that's when you'll know
the tiers that are available to you that make sense for you, your marketplace for your results. Remember, you're only one experiment away. Let's build.